a little bit more interesting now, and they will continue to get more interesting as we go along. Would somebody from this table, and we'll work our way around the room, somebody from this table, would you like to try to read that first sentence, starting with Priska?
Adelphi moi ole fati asus hexe basilia.
Yeah, so the pronunciation, Priska, Headelphe mu. And remember, mu means what? My, right. So this is, we're in the first declension now, which is the feminine endings. We've got this Ada, but this is a masculine ending, which you're going to get next chapter. So rather than teach you the masculine endings, they've just told you what that means. So Headelphe mu means what? My sister. Lege says, so my sister says, Hati Jesus, that Jesus, Eke Basileon. Right, so my sister says that Jesus has a kingdom. So of course we've got this alpha nu ending. What does that mean? Right, so rather than saying direct object, what's the Greek terminology for that? Accusative, exactly. Right. So Headelphe mu, so nominative, says that Jesus has a kingdom. Actually, before we get too much farther in this text, it would probably be worth reviewing all those, since hopefully at this point you've spent some time with it and you've got them to memory. But what are the four cases? Right. Well, we'll just, for sake of memorization, we'll memorize those four and just know that the vocative means accusative. Means nominative. Is nominative in form. So if you know the nominative, you know the vocative. So nominative, genitive, dative, accusative. And then using my bird mnemonic, what does that mean? Bird of a bird, to a bird, I see a bird. Right. And then those endings are, of course, a, ace, a, ain, I, own, ice, us. Sorry. Sometimes it's difficult to write on the screen. Okay. Well, that doesn't even look like Greek. Okay.
The Ada and then the Ada with that underneath.
Yeah, so you mean the Ada with the Yoda subscript?
Yeah.
It's pronounced the same as just an Ada. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't change the pronunciation at all. Yeah. So a, ace, a, ain, I, own, ice, us. Okay, Priska. Hey, Adelphe mu lege hati Jesus eke basileon. And she's talking to Saulos. So Saul. All right, this table back here. So I want to try and read it. Or phone a friend. Okay, that's all right. Mm-hmm.
Basilea u lepo kai u pistio a delphin su o lege tain
Aletheon. Good. Salos.
Yeah.
Tias in a Basilea? And what is this? Question mark. Yeah. Tias in a Basilea. U blepo kai u pestuo. He adelphe su u lege tain aletheon. So Saulos, so Saul, but we'll say Saulos. T estin he Basilea? What's that? Yeah, what is the kingdom? Or what is the kingdom? U blepo kai u pestuo. Does that mean? Right, so we've got this, not that I can't see it, but we've got this omega ending, so that's first person singular. I don't see and I don't believe. He adelphe su u lege tain aletheon. What does that mean? So we've got... Right, so if I were to literal word for word in English word order, or I would say the sister of you, so your sister, u lege tain aletheon, does not speak or does not say the truth. Your sister is lying. So Priska, Lege kai he ecclesia hati Jesus eke basileon ou pistues. All right, so we have here kai. What does that mean? Right, or also. So it's in English we've got to supply these two definitions, but it may, but in Greek they may not have made that same distinction. They would have just thrown kai in, and kai means kai. So Priska, legi kai he ecclesia. What does that mean?
Church also speaks.
Yeah, the church also says, hati Jesus eke basileon,
In the kingdom.
that Jesus has a kingdom, not the kingdom, because there's no definite article there. So the church also says that Jesus has a kingdom. Ou pistues? Yeah, don't you believe or you don't believe? All right, this table right here.
Question. Since
Yeah, go for it.
these words,
Uh-huh.
could mean multiple things. When you're translating, try to put it in the best English.
Typically, yeah. Yeah, you try to put it into English that is understandable because you're translating for an audience that doesn't know Greek, that only knows English. So when you open up your Bibles and you start comparing translations, you see that they're different, which means they're trying, there's multiple ways to turn this into English. Yeah. All right, starting with line 11. Someone at this table?
Ego akuo Jesus dale akin tain basilean case.
All right, so Barnabas. So we have ego ekuo. What does that mean?
Here.
Not just I here, but I myself here. Because remember, ego is redundant. Because this omicron here, excuse me, this omega here is sufficient to say I here. But if we have ego ekuo, that means I myself here. For, yeah. Hati Jesus stele ekain. So what is this ending right here? The epsilon iota nu. Ain. Infinitive, correct. Yeah, to have. So I myself hear that Jesus desires, thele desires, to have tain basileon tes geis. What's that?
Kingdom on earth.
The kingdom of the earth, right? Because so we've got accusative endings. So Jesus desires. So Jesus desires the kingdom, but not just any kingdom, the kingdom of the earth, because we've got this ace ending. And so that's in the genitive. And when you see that genitive, it's just fusing it to another word so that now that word is a packet of meaning. So not just, you would never have this genitive by itself. You would have, in this context at least, you'd have the kingdom of the earth. All right, does anybody have any questions at this point? Or am I going too fast? My hope is that if you just keep reading through these texts by yourself and in your personal study, that eventually it sort of seeps in after extended exposure.
Where did of come from?
The what?
The of. You said the kingdom of the earth.
Right. That's in this genitive ending. So this eta sigma, the earth, it's of the earth because it's genitive. So you could say,
Because it's genitive, you put it of in there.
yeah, well, you could say, I myself also hear that Jesus desires to have the earth's kingdom. That's another way to say it. The earth's kingdom, or the kingdom of the earth. Yeah.
I mean, I would say of the earth because it sounds better English, but I
Sure.
don't see how you can get that from the words here.
Yeah, so it's not just from the words, it's from the ending.
Okay.
We've got this genitive ending, this eta sigma, that's a genitive.
Right.
And so it's this, the earth is qualifying the kingdom. So it's not just, I myself hear that Jesus desires to have the earth kingdom. That's not good English. In English, we say the kingdom of the earth. And that of is coming from the genitive ending, this eta sigma. Yeah. Yeah, so it's a good observation that as we turn this into English, sometimes we need to add English words in order to capture the same meaning that's in the Greek. Yeah, that's something that happens when you're translating. Okay, this table, starting with line 14. Who wants to give that a shot? Starting with Priska.
Priska, uleges tein aletheon, uginoskes hati Jesus lepe tein cardion.
Yeah, but not just Tain Cardion, but Tain Cardion? You gotta inflect your voice because it's a question. Yeah. So what does this mean? Priska, so she's speaking right now. Leges tain aletheon. So what is this? Ace ending, epsilon iota sigma?
You.
Yeah, second person singular, you. So leges then means what?
No, you don't speak.
Yeah, you're not saying, or you not speaking, tain aletheon. The truth. Yeah, you're not saying the truth. You don't speak the truth. Uginoskes, you don't know. Hati Jesus, that Jesus sees the heart. You're not speaking the truth. You don't say the truth. Don't you know, or you don't know, that Jesus sees the heart? Remember, what is if I'm going for a run, what kind of workout am I doing? I'm doing a heart workout. I'm doing a cardio. That's cardion. All right. Salos kai Barnabas upastuasin hati Jesus eke basileon. So Salos, so Saul and Barnabas, Salos kai Barnabas. Remember, usin. What's that? Yeah, so they do not. But we don't say Salos kai Barnabas, they do not. We just say Salos kai Barnabas do not believe. They do not believe. Hati Jesus eke basileon. That Jesus has a kingdom. But Jesus is going to correct them. So Jesus appears before them. Back to this table, starting with this line here. Somebody want to read that?
T-legate.
Not T-lege, but
T-legate.
yeah, T-legate. We got the accent here, so it's not legete, it's T-legate, yeah. Which means,
What do you say?
yeah, what are you saying, or maybe what are you talking about? Either one, yeah. Priska, she answers him, Salos ka Barnabas, upastuasin hati ekes. What's ekes?
Yeah.
Not just have, but you have.
Yeah.
Salos ka Barnabas, they don't believe, hati, that you have a kingdom. It's no definite article, so just a kingdom. Salos ka Barnabas, they don't believe that you have a kingdom. Again, stop me if I say something that doesn't make sense and you have a question. All right, table in the back. Who wants to read this sentence? Go for it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. U pistuomen hati u blepomen. Salos ka Barnabas. Now they're talking. U pistuomen. What's that? We don't believe. So amen. That's that third person plural. Or excuse me, first person plural. We don't believe. So u, which is the negative, don't. So u pistuomen, we don't believe. Now hati, we've been translating that as this relative pronoun. What's the other way we can translate hati? Because, yeah. We don't believe hati because we don't see. Salas ka Barnabas u pistuomen hati u blepomen. Jesus. Back to this table. Somebody want to give it a shot?
Legatain alethean kai stuate lepo oti o genesketain alethean.
Very good. Okay, so this word here is not oti, but how would you pronounce it? Hati, right, because it has this rough breathing mark at the beginning. There are no H's in Greek. They just put this little backwards comma on top of a letter, and that means you're going to aspirate before you read it. Hati, right? So Jesus, legoten aletheon means
Speak the truth.
I speak the truth. Kai upistuate.
And you don't believe.
Yeah, and when he says you, how many people is he talking to?
Well, you all.
You all, right? Because it's this ete ending. So I speak the truth, and you don't believe. Blepo hati ugenoskete tenaletheon. Blepo hati. I see that. Ugenoskete. Y'all don't believe. Tenaletheon.
Good.
So what's the whole sentence? Lego tenaletheon kai upistuate. I speak the truth, and you don't believe. Y'all don't believe. Blepo hati ugenoskete tenaletheon. I see that y'all don't believe, or y'all don't know, sorry, gnosko. Y'all don't know the truth. All right. Prisca, Kaisalos, Barnabas. 3 people now. Ti estin aletheia. What's that? What is truth? Not just what is the truth, but what is truth? Thelomen, gnoskamen. Gnoskane, excuse me. Thelomen means what? Yeah, we wish or we desire. Gnoskane, to know. Right. Prisca, Kaisalos, Kapanabas. What is truth? Tiesteletheia, thelomen, gnoskane. We desire to know. Jesus. Ego eimi. What's that? I am. He aletheia kai he zoe. The truth and the life. Echo basileon. Upistuate hati ublepete. Yeah. You don't believe because you don't see? Uk estin hora blepein. Right. So there's an interesting note here that we say uk estin hora blepein. So we could literally say not is hour to see. Not it is not an hour to see. So rather than just saying not is, in English we would say probably it is not. It is not hora blepein. It is not an hour to see. Not just it is not the hour to see. It is not an hour to see. So in good English, we would say something like it's not time to see, if that makes sense. Hora estin pistuein. What does that mean? It's the hour to believe. All right, that was fast. But any questions at this point? Anybody feel completely lost?
Question. There.
Sure.
It says Estin
Kind of close.
twice. One of them has an accent. So are those pronounced differently?
Right. You mean there's no accent here and there's an accent here? Right. So the reason is because we're learning to read Greek. We're not learning to produce it. And my philosophy is that since you're only reading it, I'm not asking you to know how the accent rules work. If you look at the homework, I've consistently said skim accentation or accentuation, whatever, because it's not important for your ability to read it.
They're pronounced the same though.
They're not. So the reason, I mean, basically, but there's a rule that says that makes it so that there's no accent here, but it is here, so that you're sort of pronouncing it as a packet. This is a little bit more advanced, so I'm not asking you to know it. If you're curious as to why there is no accent here, but there is an accent there, then in all those sections that I've said skim accents, you can read that a little bit fuller. But it's extra. You don't need to know it. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I was trying to memorize where to write the accents and I got to that one. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
You know,
Knowing the accents are good, but for our purposes, to just read it, you don't need to know how the accents fall the way they do. That's advanced. All right, well, let's just keep rolling. This next story is kind of funny. This is a non-biblical. We're getting into some classical Greek here. Poseidon, the god of the sea, and Gaia, the goddess of the earth, are having a friendly chat. Poseidon, ego echo basileon. What does that mean? Not just I have a kingdom, but I myself have a kingdom. All right, starting at this table all the way on my right. Someone want to read this sentence?
Yeah. T. Eston in Basilean or Seuss.
Su. Yeah. So T estin he basileia su, meaning, yeah, what is your kingdom? Or is it literally what is the kingdom of you? Or just what is your kingdom? Poseidon says, he basileia mu, meaning my kingdom is the sea. So in this sentence, you'll notice again, we're starting to see that I've said previously that word order is flexible in Greek. Well, now you're kind of seeing it in play here. Poseidon says, "My kingdom, the sea is." But in good English, we'd say, "My kingdom is the sea." Gaia, ou pistuo. I don't believe. Uk ekes basileon. You don't have a kingdom. Fellow blepein. I desire to see. Yeah. All right, line 14, table in the back. Who wants to give that a shot? I'll go ahead and read it. Poseidon. Theles blepein? What does that mean?
I desire to see.
Yeah, you desire, because ace. You desire to see. Uk estin ora blepein. We've already read this sentence. Yeah, it's not time to see. So literally, not is an hour to see, but it is not time to see. Ora estin akuein kai pistuein. So ora estin. Yeah, it's an hour, or it is time. Akuein, to hear. Kai, to believe. It is time to hear and believe. Gaia. U leges tenaletheon. You don't speak the truth. Ego lego tenaletheon. I myself am speaking the truth. Kai echo basileon. So echo, what's that? I have a kingdom. So no definite article. I have a kingdom. Theles blepein? Excuse me, yeah. Theles blepein. You want to see? You want to see it? You want to check it out? All right. Poseidon. Tiesene basileia su. What is your kingdom? Yeah. What is the kingdom of you? What is your kingdom? Gaia. Blepes tengain. What does that mean? Do you see the earth? Remember, question mark right here. Do you see the earth? Hege estin he basileia mu. So the earth is the kingdom of me. The earth is my kingdom. So why is it here we've got gay and we have gain? Oh, excuse me. And we have gain. What's going on with that spelling difference? Right. So what's this one? Gay. Nominative, right? And here. Accusative. Exactly. You wish to you desire to you desire excuse me. You see the earth. The earth is my kingdom. Lepes ten doxen. Tes geis. This is a little more complicated. Who wants to try that sentence?
Glory.
Of the earth. Yeah, so now we've got geis right here. Gain, gay, geis. What is this? I've scribbled all over it now. What is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and genitive. What is that modifying?
Glory.
Glory. Yeah, glory. So you see the glory of the earth. So notice again. Remember, as we learned from last week and then the past 2 weeks as we've been studying this, that we're in the first declension. These are these feminine nouns. We have ones that are pure alpha. We have ones that are pure eta, and we have some that are mixed. So doxa ends with alpha nu, and we have gain up here ending in eta nu. They're both accusative, but gain and doxan, they're different, but they're both accusative. You see the glory of the earth. Poseidon. Blepo tain gain. Is that?
I see.
I see the earth, Allah, but doxan uk eke he gay.
The earth.
All right, exactly. But remember, word order is fluid. We have but glory not have has the earth. In English, we would say, but the earth does not have glory. Now, the author here has decided to front load doxon, glory, which, by the way, if you've heard this word doxology before, that's where it's coming from. You see he's front loaded doxon, which means he's trying to put the emphasis on that word. So in this previous sentence, you see the earth is my kingdom. Do you see the glory of the earth? And Poseidon is responding, and he's putting the emphasis on glory. I see the earth, but glory, the earth doesn't have it. Right? It's literally saying, if I want to translate it into good English, but I don't see the glory of the earth. But as he's rendering it with doxon front-loaded like that, but glory, the earth doesn't have that. Would be sort of how I would render that into more conversational English that captures the meaning of this word order. Is that confusing for anyone? Now, we say...
Get all this when you're reading this fast.
Well, you're learning it right now, but once we get into chapter 20 or so, and you've been playing around with these cases for the past 2 years, it'll become second nature. You're not going to be thinking through it slowly the way we are now. Yeah. As you spend time immersed in this language, all of these things, like right now, let's say, what does this epsilon iota ending mean? What's this word? Yeah. You said he or she has pretty quick because you've seen that epsilon iota ending for weeks now, months. And so it's starting to seep in and you're not having to slowly calculate what it means. You'll do the same thing with word order. You're not going to look at tes geis and think, okay, nominative, genitive, dative. You're going to just know that that's a genitive because you've read it so many times and you've seen it experimented with so many times. So Poseidon says, I see the earth, but the earth does not have glory. But glory, the earth doesn't have it. And Gaia is being really snarky, and she says, also the sea, uk eke doxan. Also the sea does not have glory. Interesting note here with this word thalassa. So we translate it as either sea or lake. Because who's been to Israel before? Anyone? Have you seen the Sea of Galilee?
Yes.
It's not a sea, is it? No, it's a lake. But yeah, you can stand on one side of it and you can see the other side. It's not a big body of water. But Sea of Galilee sounds, well, that's how the King James translated it, and it sounds more majestic, and that's just the way it's entrenched in our minds. So we can translate thalassa as sea, just to be consistent with how we've read it and thought about it all these years. But it can also mean lake. It just means a body of water that's sizable.
I have a question. One of the videos said thalata,
Right.
different word, or is it?
Same word. So what you're observing, remember, we are doing Koine Greek, which is the Greek of the Bible. There are different kinds of Greek out there. There's also classical Greek. Classical Greek would be the Greek of Homer and Plato and Aristotle. And one of the differences is that sometimes the way we spell words are different. You see that difference in the way the British spell color. How do they spell it?
C-O-L-O-U-R.
O-U-R. Yeah, we don't put the U there in English. We say C-O-L-O-R. Same thing's kind of happening here. Now, in today's day and age, we have digital and print media, and you can record something in the UK and it can be viewed live in the United States. So the language has become more standardized. Whereas in this day, when they were writing this language, they would it became much more diverse geographically. Yeah, so you'll see spelling variations like thalata and thalassa.
With the thalassa, how come there's two sigmas?
It's just the way they spell it.
So
Yeah.
they don't have like a rule, like when they're spelling something, like we do in English, if it's like this, or if.
They might. There are all sorts of unspoken rules that are at play behind the language.
The
Yeah.
first sigma is the end of the second syllable. The second sigma is the beginning of the third syllable.
No, we'd say thalassa. That's 3 syllables. Yeah.
So it's, both sigmas are part of the third syllable.
Yeah. That's just the way they spell it.
Like our word classic.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. All right. Well, let's keep rocking and rolling. Story C is very short, so just want to make sure that I'm not missing anything that I wanted to mention. I'll go ahead and read this one so we can keep moving. Ioannes Graphe. What does that mean? John writes, or we could give it a derivative sense. John is writing, but John writes. Ha'angelos lege. The angel says. Now I didn't pronounce this agelos, but remember, 2 gammas next to each other makes an ng sound. Ha'angelos lege, not a ng, but a sort of a nasal G. Angelos lege. Hatihe ecclesia uk eke zoane. Who wants to give that a shot? Yeah, that the church does not have life because ou pistue kai uk akue. Yeah, because it does not believe and does not hear. Why is this word spelt differently than this word? It's the same word. We got uk akue and ou pistue. The reason is this one begins with an alpha and this begins with a P. If this is a vowel, we put the K there, or the kappa. And if this is a consonant, we put the upsilon. It makes it a little more fluid. It's not uk pistue, but upistue kai ukakue. Because it could be, well, yeah, you're right. We could call the church a she, but the church is it's a feminine noun, but it's not a person. It's depending on how you want to talk about it theologically. But for the purposes of this, we'll say it's an institution, a building, a group of people. So you could refer to it as the church is she or it. If we're referring to a person, we'll always say he or she. But yeah, I guess you can personify it and call it a she. Yeah, it's singular. He ecclesia uk eke zoen, that the church, the angel says that the church does not have life because she or it does not believe and does not hear. He ecclesia eken doxan. What's that? The church desires to have glory and does not desire to have life. Kai uthele eken zoen. Ioannes, Ioannes graphe hatihe ecclesia ugenoske ten aletheon kai ten horan. So Ioannes writes that the church does not know the truth and the hour. T ora estin? What is the hour? Or since there's no definite article, we'd say what time is it? Yeah. Ora estin pistuain. It's time to believe. All right. Again, please stop me if you have any questions. Otherwise, I'm going to keep rolling. All right. There'll be something I want to mention here. All right. Yeah. Ioannes. Yep. So I don't know if did you get this far in your reading? Okay, this is all new territory then. This is what you'll be, I think, starting with on Monday if you're following the schedule. All right, so this will be new territory for everybody. Satan meets Jesus in the desert. What's this story? Just based on that title? The temptation. Yeah, this will be a very simplified version of the temptation. Satanas means Satan. Oh, Jesu. Oh, Jesus. Right. This is not really a his word, but it's not. It's what's the word I'm looking for? Not expletive, but yeah, it's just oh Jesus. Yeah, pronounce it phonetically. Oh Jesus. Ti theles ekain. What do you wish to have? Jesus is speechless. Jesus. ... Satanas. U theles ekain tain basileon tes geis. Yeah. Do you want to have the kingdom of the earth? Jesus. U thelo ekain ten basileon tes geis. I don't desire to have the kingdom of the earth. Satanas. U blepes ten basileon tes geis. Right. So there's two ways we could translate this. We could say, you don't see the kingdom of the earth, or don't you see the kingdom of the earth? U blepes ten doxon tes basileas. Yeah. The glory of the kingdom. Remember, of we're getting because this is a genitive ending. Don't you see the you don't see or don't you see the glory of the kingdom? Jesus. U blepo ten doxen tes basileas tes geis. This is interesting. We've got two genitives back to back here. Who wants to try that? U blepo ten doxen tes basileas tes geis.
Glory.
Yeah, so we've got accusative here. So I don't see the glory of the kingdoms as the kingdom of the earth. Now we're going to mix it up a little bit. Hai basileai tes geis. What's that? The kingdoms of the earth. Why is that? Yeah. Yeah, so Alpha Yoda. Remember, we have ace, ain, and then I, own, ice, So the plural endings for nominative, genitive, dative, accusative, I, own, ice, us. We've got I here, so that's the plural. The kingdoms of the earth, uk ekusin doxan.
So
They don't have glory. Yeah, so the kingdoms of the earth, and we're saying ekusin, usin, because it's hai basileai, because that's plural. So the kingdoms of the earth, they don't have glory. But Satan responds by saying, Tis, what's tis?
what?
No, so T is what? You slap a sigma on the end. Who, right? Sanatas. Tis eke doxat. Who has glory? Jesus. Hai ecclesiae. The church is, plural. Hai ecclesiae. Ekusen doxan. The churches have glory. Hoti. Because hai ecclesiae akusin tes phones mu. So, right. So, akusin, they hear tes phones mu. They hear of my voice. So this ace, so tes phones is in the genitive of my voice. Of my voice. The churches have glory because the churches hear my voice. Yeah. So that might throw you through a loop because you'd say, wait a minute, why isn't my voice in the accusative? And this is when we start to realize that grammatical rules as we learn them are a little bit pliable. And when we're talking about hearing something, the Greek prefers the thing that you hear is going to be in the genitive. That's not a rule that you should commit to memory and say, this is how I treat this word. You should just read it as the genitive and then let your brain extrapolate the meaning organically. We're not just hearing a voice, we're hearing of the voice. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I would have expected accusative there, but
Mm-hmm.
it's genitive, so it's
Yeah.
maybe a funnier way that it sort of said it.
I mean, English is highly irregular as well, so we would find a lot of things in English that don't seem to follow the regular grammatical rules. And this is just how they're going to say hearing someone's voice is not just hearing the voice in the accusative, but hearing of his voice. Yeah. So Jesus says, the churches have glory because the churches hear of my voice. Satanas, hai ecclesiae ekusan doxan? The churches have glory? U blepo ten doxan ton ecclesion. Of the churches, yeah. So what is own? Remember, I just wrote it up here. Genitive plural. Yeah. Of the churches. So the churches have glory. I don't see the glory of the churches. It's genitive plural. If at this point you feel a little bit confused about nominative, genitive, dative, accusative, don't worry about it. You just stay in it, and it'll eventually start to make sense. You know what we're going to be doing next chapter in chapter 4? Same thing, but in masculine instead of feminine. So you'll have some more endings to wrap your head around, but no new meaning. So we'll be in this for a while. All right. Yeah, sure.
When you said, oh, Jesus, there was no S on Jesus, but then the next one, the S was back on there. Is that because he did the O?
Yeah, good.
Or do
I
they
don't.
want it to put
I
an
don't
S?
know.
Okay.
Yeah. Good question. I don't know. My guess would be I don't know. Names are funny. They don't seem to follow all the same rules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could be, but, oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'd have to double check. It might be that that this is a vocative form of a name, but I don't know. Yeah. Sorry. I wish I did. I'm still learning Greek as well. Well, you never stop learning it. Yeah.
It would have taken me
Yeah. That's all right. Well, you have 2 more weeks, so before we do something new. All right. Story E. Okay. And then this will be the last one that we do today. I want to make sure that I am. Okay. Let's see if we can get through this in the remaining time. So Paul is writing to the churches. We're starting on page 14 in the reader. Wait, sorry.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, right at the bottom of page 14 in the reader. So Paul is writing to the churches. Paulus graphe te ecclesia. So what's this Yoda subscript doing? Dative. Yeah. So Paulus graphe te ecclesia, to the church. Yes, singular. Paul's writing to the church, but not just any church. Tes Galatias. Yeah. And to the church, tes Corinthu. Right. So, one thing you might have noticed is that we've got this Omicron upsilon ending here and this alpha sigma ending here and in the genitive. This is also the genitive, but this is a kind of genitive you'll get in the next chapter, which is in the masculine. If you're ever looking at the end of a word and you think, I don't understand what that is, just default to the definite article and look at what the definite article has. Corinthu, yeah. Yeah, of Corinth. So, Paulos graphe, Paul is writing to the church of Galatia and to the church of Corinth. T graphe, what is he writing? Or what does he write? What is he writing? Paulus graphe hati hai ecclesiae. Do not suspense. Acousin tes phones. They do not listen of the voice or listen to the voice. Tes aletheas, of the truth. Kai u pistuosin. Don't believe. Te aletheia. Don't believe in the truth. Yeah, so they've put te aletheia in the dative here. So that means that we don't necessarily want to translate it as they don't believe to the truth, but we'd say in English, in the truth. But this is how they would write it in Greek. Paulos gnoske. Paul knows hati hai ecclesiae. The churches, it's a plural ending, hai ecclesiae, thelusin ekein doxan. Yeah, wish to have glory. Ala u thelusin ekein zoein.
Glory.
But don't wish to have life. Right. So if I read the whole thing, Paulus graphe te ecclesia, tes Galatias, kai te ecclesia tes Corinthu. Ti graphe, Paulus graphe hati hai ecclesiae, uk acousin tes phones tes aletheas, kai u pastuusin te aletheia. Paulus genoske hati hai ecclesiae thelusin ekein doxan, ala u thelusin ekein zoein. So the whole thing, Paul writes that the churches do not hear of the voice of the truth, do not hear the truth, do not hear of the voice of the truth, do not hear the voice of truth. Kai upistuisin te aletheia, and don't believe in the truth. Paulos genoske hatihai ecclesiae therusin ekein doxan. Paul knows that the churches desire to have glory, ala u therusin ekein zoein, but they don't desire to have life. Paulos thele legein tais ecclesiais. Paulos thele legein tais ecclesiais. Paul desires to speak to the churches. So what is eis ending? What's that? Yeah, it's plural, dative, to. Paul desires to speak to the churches. Hati hai doxai tes geis. What's that? This is an interesting sentence. Hati hai doxai tes geis. Not just glory, glories, right? This is a plural. That the glories of the earth. This is a throwback. Lusin destroys. And what's this usin ending? They. And why is it plural? Because it's the glories, not just the glory of the earth, but the glories of the earth. Paul desires to write to the churches that the glories of the earth destroy. Tas kardias ton ecclesion, destroys the heart of the churches. Paul desires to Paul desires to say to the churches that the glories of the earth destroy the heart of the church. Paulos graphe hati hai ecclesiae, that the churches genoskusin tein aletheon. Right. Paul writes that the churches, plural, that the churches, they don't know genoskusin tein aletheon. They don't know the truth. Almost done here. T poiusin. Have you seen that word yet? Poieo? Yeah, to do, yeah. Make or do, poieo. What doing, plural, what are doing? Hai ecclesiae. What are the churches doing? Akousin hai ecclesiae tes phones tes aletheas. So it's a question mark here. The churches. So what's this? I. What's that ending? So it's the churches. It's plural what? Nominative. So this is the subject. The churches hear of the voice of the truth? Question mark. Do the churches hear the voice of the truth? The voice of the truth? Pistuosin te aletheia? Do they believe in the truth? Uk akusin. They don't hear. Kai u pistuosin. And they don't believe. One quick note I want to make before we peace out. Check out this word order in this sentence before you pack up. Right. Hear the churches, the voice of the truth. This is the same content as, go back to 25 in this last one here. The churches hear my voice, of the voice. In the other sentence, akousin was front-loaded before, so we got hai ecclesiae akousin, and down here we have akusin hai ecclesiae. It means the same thing, but remember, word order is fluid. But when you see those endings, then you know how you should understand that word order in English. All right, so there's one more story I didn't get to, but you'll read that this coming week. Again, I just want to give you all a word of encouragement. If this sounded confusing or you didn't understand this, remember how confused you felt when I first introduced O ace a, amen ete use. But now, when you see O ace a, you probably recognize it without going through your head. Or at least you're better at recognizing it. It's going to be the same thing with word order, and it's going to be the same thing with these endings. You just spend time in it, keep studying every day, and you will eventually come to understand it.